Have you ever wondered why your films look like crap? Because you don't know how to light faces. Let me tell you how. The first thing you should do is light the far side of the face. A lot of beginner filmmakers tend to light the subject from the front. They put the light next to the camera. This creates a very flat and boring lighting. What you should do instead is move the light further back so that it lights the far side of the face. This creates more contrast and depth. It also gives the face more shape. The second thing you should do is diffuse the light. The easiest way to do this is to use a softbox. You can also use an umbrella, a diffuser, or bounce the light off a white surface. The idea is to soften the light and make it more flattering. The size of diffusion or bounce surface will determine how soft the light is. The bigger the source of light, the softer and more flattering it becomes. Then you should add backlight. Backlight creates more contrast and dimension on the face and separates the subject from the background. With this setup, soft key light is coming from the front and backlight is lighting the subject from the back. Even if the actor moves, which they're going to do, we still preserve the contrast and dimension on the face. Beginners usually underestimate backlight, but it is easily the best thing you can do to make your shot look better. So, my advice is, add backlight unless you have a good reason not to. It's very hard for the viewer to figure out where the backlight is coming from, so it's a lot more forgiving in terms of motivation. You can place the key light as far back as you want. The further you move it, the more contrast you create. This light placement creates what's called the Rembrandt lighting. It creates a triangle on the cheek. This is probably the most common light technique in Hollywood films. Notice that in this light placement, both light sources are essentially directed towards the camera. Using this principle, you can move the lights around and create a different look. If you move the key light to the front and move the backlight to the other side, you can create this look with the backlight and key light on the same side. This is also a very common technique. Both light sources are positioned on the same side, to the left from the subject, but they both still face towards the camera. This is also going to work if we see the subject in profile. From here you can move the light higher or lower. If you move the light higher, it's going to create more shadows, leading to a more dramatic look. Remember that all of your lighting decisions have to be intentional. The light has to tell the story as well, and as a cinematographer, you have to know what the story is about and what the director is trying to say. But remember that none of these techniques will work if the lighting doesn't make sense. So this brings us to the last point. You must motivate the light. A practical light is never going to be enough to light the face, so you have to extend it. You need to add light from the side of the practical light, so that it lights the face in the way that you want. You can place the key light closer to the source of the light, but that will create more contrast. As long as the light is coming from the same side as the practical light, it's always going to make sense. The audience will never know where that light is coming from. I hope that these techniques will help you improve your cinematography, and if you were ever confused about lighting faces, I hope you're not anymore.